Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And movie review that a couple of people wanted me to do, so now I've got time to do it. So, a film from last year, and I do like the film, and that is of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Release came out in the summer of last year, 2017. Uh, Tom Holland comes back as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And what can I say that I like the movie. To me, I personally think it's the best Spider-Man I've seen because of Tom Holland's performance as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think he captured, which I liked him in Captain America: Civil War. How his performance, he captured how the character of Peter Parker and Spider-Man should be to me. Now, with the Chris, we'll think real quick with because this is the sixth Spider-Man film, and just really quick on the previous Spider-Man films, like I didn't care for the ones with the two Amazing Spider-Man ones with Andrew Garfield. I did not like the first Amazing Spider-Man. Especially the Lizard was a big letdown considering he was one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. I hated the Lizard, sadly. I mean, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, you know. I mean, also Rhino was let down as well. Electro, same thing. Then we get the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire, which and Andrew Garfield did not care for. Same thing with Tobey Maguire. Over the years, I've grown not to care for Tobey Maguire anymore. I mean, best of Spider-Man, the first one. I mean, my brother, he loves Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. I think the full Willem Dafoe was good as Green Goblin. He was. Second film, Alfred Molina was a good Dr. Octopus. Best thing about Spider-Man 2. And I really hated Spider-Man 3. Hated it. But the best part was Thomas Hayden Church, who was a good Sandman. And also another thing I forgot to mention, of all three of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, he was a perfect casting choice as J. Jonah Jameson. Look and humor and all that. He was great as J. Jonah Jameson. He was hilarious in all three of them. So J.K. Simmons was great in all three of them. Thomas Hayden Church, who was the best part of Spider-Man 3. Venom was shit, especially Topher Grace. I don't like Topher Grace as an actor, so especially he didn't fit the part as Venom anyway. That's why I think with this upcoming Venom movie, it looks like the character of Venom was I would say more respected, I would say, from the film. Like I said, I'm still not the biggest fan of Tom Hardy either, though, but it seems like performance-wise, looks like it's already a better performance than Topher Grace's. So yeah, that's the thing about all those previous Spider-Man films. But this one, Spider-Man: Homecoming, as a Tom Holland, he was great as Spider-Man Peter Parker. He captured both how the characteristic of how both personas should be. Now the film, it was a hit, of course, because of how most all the Marvel Cinematic Universe films are. And the film had a huge opening weekend worldwide. It made $880 million, although it's the second best Spider-Man film behind the third one, Spider-Man 3. But so critical wise as well, has a 7.5 IMDb and 92% Rotten Tomatoes. And come next year, we're getting a sequel, Spider-Man: Far From Home, which, because Infinity War, if anyone knows Avengers Infinity War by now, Spider-Man disintegrated with most of our heroes. But he's gonna be alive. We know he's gonna come back with most of the other people who's been disintegrated as well, because otherwise they're also the same people are gonna be in the sequel of Avengers, and then other ones like Guardians of the Galaxy for Volume 3 and Spider-Man Far From Home. So of course they're all gonna come back. But Spider-Man: Far From Home, I'm really interested in this one on the sequel. I'm interested to check out because First off, another thing about this film, why I like the film, not because of Tom Holland, but Michael Keaton. I expressed before, I'm a big fan of Michael Keaton, especially from Batman to Beetlejuice and many of those performances. Even like one I reviewed earlier this year, Desperate Measures. I'm still iffy on it though. But best part of the film was Michael Keaton. He did a good job in that film. But Michael Keaton, he did a really good job as Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture. He was a good villain and especially a nice addition to the Marvel universe, casting choice wise. Nice to see Michael Keaton in the Marvel universe. Like I said, I'm a fan of Michael Keaton, so. But he's gonna come back in the sequel, Spider-Man: Far From Home, and also got me curious about because now they're finally in the sequel. They're finally bringing in to the big screen Mysterio, Quentin Beck, the human name, and aka Mysterio, and he's played by Jake Gyllenhaal. That's what I like, Jake Gyllenhaal as well. So I'm really curious how he's gonna play as Mysterio, because in the comics, this is Mysterio kind of more of an older guy though. Of course, I assume that he's not gonna in the sequel he's not gonna have the traditional, the clear dome and the cape and all that in the like how he is in the comic books. I assume now because they're always changing stuff and they always change costume wise in the films now. So I'm not gonna be surprised if they don't go with the classic look of Mysterio. But Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, I'm quite curious how that's going to be, so I'm quite curious for next year for when that comes out. But Spider-Man: Homecoming, although I would disagree, though, I wouldn't give this 5 stars right there. I wouldn't give that 5 stars. Now, I like the film, although I do have some nitpicks about it, though. I don't even recall when I did my top list of 2017. I don't think I ever put this in my list though, because of those nitpicks. I think, but I still like the film. Michael Keaton and Tom Holland highlights the movie, made the film work, and also of course I got Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Iron Man as well. He was also good to see him as well. Now it's directed by John Watts. Now that's another thing because I'm not all too familiar with the director, but the films that he's directed, though, he directed a film called Cop Car, which I have not seen. It starred Kevin Bacon. I wasn't really all interested in how that film is, though. But he directed a horror film called Clown, which I have recently seen, and I liked Clown. And he did a good job with that film, but I don't think he was not the right kind of director to direct a Marvel movie. I would say it seems like an out of place director. I'll put it that way. He seems like an out of place director to make a Marvel movie, like James Gunn with the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films. Yeah, and I know about what happens with James Gunn being fired from not directing the 3rd film. I know all of that though, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. I'm just pointing out James Gunn, easily I could see him directing a Marvel movie, especially with the first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films. But this guy, I'm not all too familiar with the director, so he seems like an out-of-place person to direct a movie for a Marvel movie. So that's I'm just putting it that way. But getting into it, the story. It opens how the film opens. It was after the Battle of New York. So this opening scene takes place right directly after the battle of the first Avengers movie. You see Michael Keaton, his group, they're cleaning up they're doing something like cleaning up the mess, because you see a Shatari whale in the station, and this group of people here. They're from Damage Control, which they're getting their own little TV show as well, and they're taking over the operation. And Michael Keaton, he's not happy about it because we need all this because we have families and to support and all that. And woman says it's not our jurisdiction, nothing we can do about it, basically. And one guy pisses Michael Keaton off, like, you overextend yourself, and Michael Keaton's like, what'd you say? You're right, I overextended myself. Whacks the guy. I was like, wow, his reaction was like, what'd you say? So And of course, they found that Stark Industries are drawn with this program of damage control to clean up the mess. So they also have some of the alien tech, which is the stuff that the Chitauri used, from the first Avengers movie, the aliens. So they have their technology still, and they're gonna keep it. Michael Keaton saying the world's changing, time we change too. Now I get to the first nitpick of this film is the timeline. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. It says 8 years later. So, because Avengers came out in 2012, it says 8 years later, so it makes it like it's in 2020. But this came out in 2017, and then the following year was when Infinity War comes out. So even when I saw this in the theater with my dad, because recently we've been seeing him and I've been seeing all the recent Marvel movies. So even he was I even brought that up to him, and it was like, yeah, you're right, and it was easily identifiable. Like that timeline doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't it be like 5 years later? Because 2012, 2017, instead of 8 years later. So that was the first nitpick. I'm like, the timeline doesn't make no sense. So I'm sure some people will give a clarification though. But yeah. That's the first nitpick, that is the timeline 8 years later, which didn't make sense. It should be like 5 years later. So Michael Keaton has his with the youth. They're all his group using the alien tech group, and Michael Keaton used to make his vulture suit. And you also have another guy among his group named Mason, which aka the Tinkerer, which him and the Vulture were their first appearance of the second issue of Spider-Man's own comic book series. Issue number 2, the first appearance of the Vulture and the Tinkerer as well. So the guy Mason, he's like, who does like most of the inventing of the gadgets, he's in there, the Tinkerer. But he's there. He only says like some couple of sayings and tells about this gadget here, and that's basically he's there for. So, and then we get to get the Marvel title, and I like how another thing, how it opens after that. Peter Parker, that he's filming his own little movie, and it's also during the events of Civil War. So he's with Hogan, once again played by director Jon Favreau, taking care of him, and then Spider-Man, he's filming all his whole trip, and he's even filming during his fight with Captain America during the events of the battle in the airport in Civil War. He's even filming that. So it even gives you capture when Paul Rudd, when he was Ant-Man, he turned into Giant Man. He even like captures that as well. So yeah, so that was a bit fun. That was a bit fun of there. So I did like that. He's like filming his whole trip and on the way back, and then when he's talking with Stark, and he's like, he wants to become an Avenger, like really bad. He's like, so in order to become an Avenger, are there like trials and stuff like that? It's like we see in the trailer when him and Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is like, just don't do anything I wouldn't do, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray in there, and that's where you operate. Well, that's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. That's what you saw in the trailer, but I liked that. I thought that was funny still. And gets back to his, with Aunt May, once again played by Marisa Tomei. And he's at school, and he's talking with his friend Ned. And look at this girl that he likes, Liz. And it shows like the little stuff of, Spider-Man, because you have the song, let's go. Which is kind of funny, because I haven't heard that song in a while. The last film that I heard that song, let's go. Really enough, it's the last time I heard that song in a movie was like years back, and that was from the Jimmy Neutron movie. When the Jimmy Neutron movie, when they find out that all the parents are gone, all the kids start partying out and all that stuff. You have that song playing. It's like, I haven't heard that song in a long time, and that was the last time I heard that. It was in the Jimmy Neutron movie. But hey, it fits because it's like it's a high school teenager doing like small crimes, like taking a guy who steals a bike or helping this lady out. I was like, oh, he's even calling Hogan's like, I helped this old lady out and she gave me a churro. And during that little spot, you get Stan Lee's cameo appearance. Doing little street crimes and stuff like that. Until one time he sees these robbers at an ATM. They're using the Shatari alien tech, but as they cause some trouble, it starts causing destruction. Even blows up this little deli shop where he goes and gets his sandwiches. But he calls Hogan about that, but he's like, no, I don't have time about ATM and all this stuff. But he's not fully listening. And saying that he's moving because he sold the Avengers Tower, and they're moving to a new Avengers headquarters, which is one is you see in Age of Ultron, you first see it. That new Avengers headquarters. So, but he wants to find out first off, when he gets back home, his friend Ned sees him in his costume and finds out he's Spider-Man because he wanted to put he was there because he wanted to put together his Death Star, Lego Death Star, because we got to throw in there because Disney owns Star Wars now, which honestly I'm tired of because with Disney with Star Wars I'm tired of all that stuff now. I just like get that out of my face now because I'm tired. Because now to me Star Wars is now. With the films now, to me, Star Wars is dead. I will always watch the original films, and that's it. Star Wars now, to me, is now overhyped now. Overrated now. I just think, guys... Well, although, except though, I do laugh at the one joke when he said in Civil War, do you remember the... on the snow planet, in Empire Strikes Back on the snow planet, what they did with those big machines to let the legs down? Although I did like that one mention to the Star Wars joke in Civil War, I'll give you that though. But just because they have this Death Star Lego because it's Disney now, because they had to put that in everything now. Because since long as Disney's in their name, yeah, it's okay to mention Star Wars now. But to me, Star Wars is an overrated franchise now. To me, I'll just watch the original films, and I'll watch I'll look at Phantom Menace because of the lightsaber battle with Darth Maul and John Williams' score, Duels of the Fates, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, he now knows that he's Spider-Man, and then one leads to another. He finds out that he gets invited to this party at Liz's house, but then he gets something else going on, and one that leads to another is that Spider-Man, he sees the criminals doing testing out the weapons in open area, and sees them, tries to go after them. I think it was when he's running. I can't swing here. It's in the suburbs, right? And he's doing this running. And I think it was a nod to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I did like that nod to it. But then the Vulture grabs him drives him to the sky, and Spider-Man gets away, falls in the water, but Iron Man saves him. But Tony Stark's not really there. He's in India. It's only one of the drones that saves him. He tells him about the weapons, and he said he'll handle it. Just forget about him. And then back with Michael Keaton, he's pissed because of how his guys are doing this stuff out in the open, and the one guy doesn't even give a shit, and he's tells him to get out, but he kind of threatens Michael Keaton's with the stuff I know. And then Michael Keaton goes and takes this gun, and takes the Tinkerer. Is this ready? I don't know. Zaps the guy, and he's that was supposed to be the anti-gravity gun. No, it's that one over there. So the guy, he actually disintegrates that guy, and takes it to the other guy. Who's the other guy? Because he said the first guy called himself a shock. Because Shocker is now in this as well. Shocker. Bokeem Woodbine, which I remember seeing him in some other stuff. I remember him also starring in The Rock. He was one of the bad Marines. So now you're the Shocker. Yeah, Herman Schultz. That's the guy. That's the original guy who plays a Shocker in the comic books. Herman Schultz. So that's what Bokeem Woodbine plays. So he plays the first Shocker in the comics. So he goes to his school because Peter they had grabbed a piece of the weapon tech that was left behind with his friend Ned. Now that's another issue I have to bring up is that I didn't care for the guy who plays his friend Ned. I thought he was annoying, and especially less of the certain things that he does for Peter. I was like, why can't he do it himself? Because isn't Peter supposed to be very smart and he can figure this stuff on his own? I don't think he just didn't need his friend to do some of the certain things for him. And plus, I thought the guy was annoying anyway. But the character was annoying, not the kid playing him. Because, you know, when you act, you know, you follow what you're supposed to do. But I think the character was annoying. But, so that's one issue I have. Another issue I have is, first was the timeline, the opening, and then I did not care for his friend, Peter's friend, Ned. So the Peter Favreau, where they're going to next, and it's in Maryland, but so it's close to Washington, so that's where they're doing their academic decathlon. So they go to Washington, of course, when Peter ditches them they'll follow them. Then he gets locked in the truck and put into this warehouse where the other sort of weapons are. And I guess there's also a funny bit where he's talking with them. Because like inside his suits, it's kind of like a female Jarvis, but he calls her Karen, and he's like waiting and like he's like waiting, you know, in the warehouse, like makes a web hammock, and he's doing little jump ropes and testing out different ways to shoot his webs. And also, he's just been there for like 30-some minutes. I did that. That was funny, but he gets out there and finds out that the weapon that he had, it's in Ned's pocket. It's been reacting, so he goes to the Washington Monument. He lose the helicopter, the police helicopter, and it shows when he does this. You know, it just like shows he had the weapons underneath here, like in the original comics. He saves because Liz, Ned, and there's also Flash is there. Yeah, they're all in the elevator, but he saves them from the elevator. And Luigi apologizes because, you know, he was out there for the decathlon because he ditched him. So now is the thing about that. What was the next? Because after he gets back, but then he's looking into when's the next hit, you know, where the next deal is going down. Which first he talks with Donald Glover. He's only in for 2 scenes. He's been in some stuff too, but also recently he's been cast as he was cast as a Lando from the Solo Star Wars story. He only has 2 scenes, like from when they were testing the firearm and this scene right here. He's getting into his car. But this is also I thought was also chuckling is that he webs his hand to his car and Peter is trying to do like this intimidation voice, like deep in his voice, like, you know, that type of voice, and Donald Glover is like, like this is your first time doing this, right? And he's like, you're not that good at it. It's like, you're a boy. I know when a girl screams, like, I'm not a boy, I'm a man. But he tells him that, you know, he does all this because he doesn't want those weapons around where he's at because he has a nephew, and tells him where the next deal's going down. It's on this ferry boat. We get to seeing the trailer on the ferry boat, and he gets there, sees their Shocker talking with, he doesn't know Adrian Toomes yet though. Then he goes in front, and one of the guys they're meeting with is but when Karen's friend's facial recognition on one of them points out is Mac Gargan. And you know, of course, you know if anyone knows who Mac Gargan is, that's the guy who becomes Scorpion. And in case you didn't get the message about that, to tell when he's Scorpion, he has a tattoo of a scorpion on his neck, because we can't figure out that Mac Gargan is Scorpion. So we had to put that in there just to tell us that, yeah, he's Scorpion. Yeah. But Of course, if you're on the comics, it was J. Jonah Jameson responsible for Matt Gargan to be put into the Scorpion suit in the first place. But although it's part of me wants to see J.K. Simmons come back as J. Jonah Jameson in the Marvel Universe. I know he's from the Sam Raimi films, though, but after seeing him in those films, I can see no one else doing a better J. Jonah Jameson than J.K. Simmons. I think there was one time there was talks of him one time he wanted to see if he wants to come back as J. Jonah Jameson in the Marvel Universe. I would like to see it, because out to me, he was the perfect choice for J. Jonah Jameson. He was hilarious. But yeah, in the comics, J. Jonah Jameson was responsible for Matt Gargan for it to be put in the Scorpion suit. He gets a drop on them, and then, but also there was FBI agents there because they were already on their case. Scorpion comes out. Vulture comes out, fights him, but there's also a device that he tries webbing to shut it down, but it explodes. It causes. So it was his fault that the whole thing cracked in half. And in the trailer, he's holding on for dear life, trying to hold it together. But then Iron Man saves the day, and Iron Man is pissed at him. And this time Tony Stark is there, and it's like, if you will listen to me. And he's like, I did listen to you. Who do you think called the FBI? I was the only one who believed in you. Okay, it ain't working out. I'm gonna need the suit back. But I'm nothing without the suit. If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. I'm starting to sound like my dad. That was the part. He's like, I'm starting to sound like my dad. But I like that, but also there was another good part of him, the conversations between him and Tony Stark, with Parker, he's like, to Tony, he's like being more of a father figure, trying to mentor, but teach him right and wrong and all that stuff. It's also a coming of age story as well, so that's why I have a little of that stuff in there. So after all of that, though, he decides he's doing well in school again, and then it's time for the homecoming. So he's going to pick up Liz for the homecoming. Goes to her house, and when her father answers the door, it's Michael Keaton, and then he can't believe that it was the guy who's selling all the weapons. He's looking at him like he's the one. He's the flying monster guy, he says, or the wingman, or whatever he said in the movie. Yeah, the whole time he's just looking at him, it's like, that's him. He's the bad guy. But it's also he's also his girlfriend's father as well. And then what leads to, which is my favorite, at least my favorite scene in the movie. I really enjoy this scene where they're in the car, right, and they're talking, and just the look at it's the look at Michael Keaton, his expression as they're driving, and he puts two and two together, to discover that he puts two and two together that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Just a look. It's the expression looks that Michael Keaton is given as he's driving. He's like, yeah, good thing your friend Spider-Man was there. And there's also a shot from him in the rearview mirror as well, from his reflection. He's like this, give him that look. But Michael Keaton, he pulled it off really well. I love Michael Keaton. He did a great job in this movie. He was definitely the best part of the movie for me. And I really enjoyed this whole scene when they're in the car, right? Just the expression he's given that he puts two to two together that he is Spider-Man. And then when he lets her daughter out first, and then he's talking to him some more, and he's like, does she know? So she doesn't. That's good. And there's nothing more means to me than family. You saved my daughter's life, so I'm gonna give you a chance. Yeah, you should, go. Just stay out of my business, or I'll kill you and everyone you ever loved. So yeah, it's just Michael Keaton, he just delivered it very well. Yeah, so that was my favorite scene in the movie. Just the whole of him during the whole the car ride to the homecoming party. Yeah, Michael Keaton did a great job. I really enjoy that scene. I would say it's my favorite scene in the movie. So he goes in though, but he can't do it, so he ditches Liz, and he has to get his own, since he has no use his old costume. He gets to the fight with Shocker, and that's another thing that issues with, because like that his friend Ned had to help him save him. He used his weapon to web Shocker to the bus. He had to be saved by his friend. That's another nitpick there. And of course, even though you just talk about he wants to be like the guy in the chair, the side character, all that stuff. What he mentioned from, and but after that though, I get another funny scene because he steals like Flash's like his father's car, and he doesn't know how to drive. It shows, but all that though is coming back with his friend, and when one of the teachers comes in and says, "What are you doing? The problem's out there. Not problem. The party's out there. What are you looking at?" And the kid said, Ned says, "I'm looking at porn." That's one of the issues I have is just this character Ned. I just didn't care for him at all. And there's no need for him to be with well, I know it's his friend and all that though, but just things that to do with it, what he does with Peter, Peter could have done all that stuff himself. And didn't need to be saved by his friend. But yeah, just the character Ned I just didn't care for. But anyway, then he finds where Michael Keaton's at, and he dodges away out of the wingsuit. The whole thing collapses on him, and I do like that it was a reference to this in the comic book, where in the comic book shows a whole bunch of stuff is on top of him, and he rises up from beneath the rubble. I do like that reference that was from the comic book as well. So I do like that reference, and he's gonna do this one last big job where he goes Michael Keaton goes on this plane that kind of like camouflages itself. It has all this shipment stuff. He goes inside. He's happy like he found like the mother lode of all stuff, and he's like, hot dog. He sees all these weapon stuff, and he throws away Iron Man face helmet. He's like this. Yeah, and then he's free to take what he wants, but then Spider-Man's on there, fights him on top of the plane. The one of the engines catches fire. He steers it, lands on the beach where this carnival is, amusement park. And until the fight was there. That's one of the things. I think the action scenes in the film were decent though, but they weren't as great as some of the other fights were in the previous Marvel films. So I thought that was kind of a bit of a letdown though. I mean, they were not that bad. I just think they weren't as great as some of the other fight scenes I've seen, like the airport battle in Civil War. I like that. I love that scene. Or the scene where the Avengers are fighting together in Age of Ultron. The whole circle 360 angle where all the superheroes are fighting at once against Ultron's clones. Those are good. Those are great fight scenes. Here, they were decent, not quite as bad though, but I thought it was a bit of a letdown though. Even at the fight towards the end on the beach, I thought it was there. But then he sees that his Michael Keaton's wingsuit is about to explode. He's trying to save him, but it crashes and burns. But he's able to save Michael Keaton, but tie him up as well with a note for John Favreau to find. So while he's back at school, Liz is moving to Oregon because of what happened with her father, trying to apologize. And well, also during he talks with John. Before that, him and his decathlon group are talking, and the girl who's also like she's like Zendaya. She's appeared in The Greatest Showman as well, but they call her name is Michelle. She's like one of the kind of like teased like with Peter. It's like you guys are losers, or even trying to draw him like pictures of him like crying and all that stuff. And finally, it's like, oh, my friends call me MJ. So all of a sudden, that's just right out there. All of a sudden, she's now MJ, not Mary Jane, but Michelle Jones, MJ. So that was like out there. So, But yeah, then he meets with John Favreau in the bathroom. He goes back to the Stark's new the Avengers headquarters. Shows him the new Iron Man, the Iron Spider-Man suit. Which I will say it's a nitpick in Avengers Infinity War. I did not care for the Iron Man Spider-Man suit. I did not care for the look. I know that's why you see that suit there for Infinity War, though, but I just did not care for that suit. I didn't. But then instead, he says he declines. He wants to stay, being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and which Tony Stark accepts. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts comes out because the press are waiting, and his Tony asks Hogan's like, "Do you still have the ring?" And John Favreau's like, "Are you kidding me? I've been carrying this since 2008, the first Iron Man. That's when it came out. So he's gonna marry Pepper, which I thought that was kind of neat. So, and so when he goes back to his place, he finds that his Spider-Man suit's been returned. He puts it on, and then when the camera turns back to the door, Aunt May's there, and she's like, "What the?" And it cuts away to the credits. So, yeah. And then, of course, after the credits, it shows with Michael Keaton when he's in jail. He talks with Matt Gargan and saying that, rumor has that you know who he is. And Michael Keaton goes, "If I knew who he was, he'd be already dead." And he's walking away, smirking to himself. So, yeah. I forget, was there something else after that? No, I don't think there was. No, I think it was just with Michael Keaton, that was it. Oh, no, I know. It ends with Chris Evans as Captain America. You see now and then there's a video, video stuff for school, and it shows Captain America, doing stuff like gym class or detention, all that. So, yeah. And after the credits, it's just Captain America doing another educational school video. So, yeah, overall, I still like the movie. I still had fun with the movie. Tom Holland he was a great job. To me, he's the best Spider-Man to me, and as of being the best Spider-Man film to me as well. But I wouldn't give this 5 stars. I disagree with that. Maybe I'll just give it maybe 3.5. Guess due to the issues that I have, the nitpicks. But still, I still had fun with the movie. Tom Holland did a great job as Spider-Man. Robert Downey Jr., nice to see him in there. He was good as Tony Stark, Iron Man. Michael Keaton did a great job in this movie. He was a great villain. Not as up there with or the ones that I fear the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Ultron. I know everybody hates Ultron though. Even my brother hates Ultron. I'm sorry. I still disagree with that. Especially when it's James Spader playing Ultron. I love Ultron, especially when it's James Spader. When he played it. So Ultron. Maybe they'll put him the same rate because Mads Mikkelsen as in Doctor Strange. I know the character itself is not memorable, but the performance by Mads Mikkelsen was good. So that's why I'm willing to forgive that, though, even though the character of Caecilius is not quite memorable, though. But still, Mads Mikkelsen did a good job as the villain. But I still think I'll put that with Michael Keaton with Mads Mikkelsen because, like I said, Michael Keaton. I'm a big fan of Michael Keaton. Like I said, he did a great job. I liked the lines that he said, and especially with my favorite scene was during the car ride on the way to the homecoming party. Him figuring out that he's Spider-Man. I really enjoyed that performance, that scene there. That's definitely my favorite scene. So yeah, Michael Keaton did a great job. Like I said, I'm praising Michael Keaton so much because I enjoy Michael Keaton a lot. He's a great actor. And I look forward to seeing him returning in Spider-Man Far From Home, and let alone interesting to see Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Because we got Mysterio, got Vulture, and we got Matt Gargan there. So hopefully by the time we see him, he'll be Scorpion. Because that's got 3 of the Sinister Six in there. Well, they had to somehow to reuse Electro because that was from the Amazing Spider-Man film. So and Sandman from Spider-Man 3. So, but yeah, but Michael Keaton did a great job. A lot of the humor that I thought was funny. And there's a couple instances I didn't think it was, especially when involved with Peter's friend Ned. I did not care him. I thought he was annoying, especially some of the stuff that he says. And like the nitpick, like the opening, like the timeline 8 years later, that was just way off. The action scenes were decent though, but it wasn't the best. Yeah, even though some of the issues, I think that's why I think some of the ones I think are Marvel films are still better though. But so I still had fun with the movie regardless of that. But I don't know what more to say. But I still like Spider-Man: Homecoming. Still, especially for Tom Holland and Michael Keaton performances alone, still enough for me to enjoy and have fun with the movie. So now that I have this here review done, I want people to review the next one. Along with this film, they wanted me to review Thor: Ragnarok. So I'll get to that next. So Spider-Man: Homecoming done. And now the next review will be of Thor: Ragnarok, which I also had fun with. I know this has also had a lot of comedy in it, especially so like I said, a coming of age story as well, especially the performance between Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. But Thor: Ragnarok actually had more comedy than Spider-Man: Homecoming. But I'll get to that though when I review that next. So yeah, so that's my review of Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'll give it a thumb up. I will. I have fun with it still. Best Spider-Man I've seen as of yet. Both actor and film-wise. So stay tuned for the next review of Thor: Ragnarok. Later.